So this is going to be an instructional / overview video on this used Hymer Grand Canyon S 600. First of all, we're going to go around the external of the vehicle and then we will go into the habitation area. As you can see, this vehicle does come with an awning. On the email you will receive a separate video how to set up and use an awning. First things first, I'm going to show you how to open the bonnet. And then two reasons for this. One, obviously so you know how to open the bonnet, but then two, we'll show you where the terminal points are in case you need to jump start the vehicle for any reason. So to open the bonnet, you need to come round to the passenger door. And then if you open the passenger door, down here in the footwell, you'll see a lever. Pull that down once and that will then release the bonnet. While we are in here, we have got blackout blinds on the driver and passenger door, which just meet at the end on a magnetic strip, and same on the front windscreen. They're on each side pillar, they slide in the middle and meet and join in the middle. We've got air suspension, which is controlled on here on the passenger seat, and then the driver and passenger seat do swivel, so you just need to, this arm here is to slide the seat forwards and backwards, and then as you can see on the driver's seat there's a little arm there. You just release that and that will then swivel the seats. You have got different positions on the seats as well for lumbar support. Also, this handbrake is a drop down one, so you just need to push it down, so then obviously the seat is not going to hit the handbrake when swiveling. So as you can see, I've now got access to the bonnet. So when you lift the bonnet up, you do need to come across to this side because you have got a manual arm what you need to use to support the bonnet. Here we have your AdBlue fill in the engine bay, and then here this red cap is going to be your positive terminal point. To get to this, you just need to twist and push in and that will give you access to that point. And then your negative terminal point is in front of the passenger, just in the far corner there, that brass looking nipple. So that is your negative terminal point. Obviously you've got your screen wash down here as well and engine fill. So now we are going to carry around the external of the vehicle. So we'll carry on the passenger side. So if you want to fill your motorhome up with diesel, you need to open the passenger door, and just behind this cover here will give you access to the diesel fill. So that is locked, secure in place when the central locking locks the door. Here you might be able to hear it, but I've currently got the boiler on because we've got the first day of cold temperature here. So this is currently burning on gas on the LPG system, so this is where the fumes do exhaust from, and just be cautious as the flue does get quite hot sometimes. Directly below that we have a black cover which goes onto here. This connection is to fill up your gas low system, so you just connect onto this, pull the trigger, it fills up the full tank completely full, and then the gauge for it is in the cab next to the steering wheel. And to get your gauge, you just need to turn the engine on and that will trigger the sensor to pick up. This door here, we have got your toilet cassette. So if you want to take out to empty or clean your cassette, what you need to do is this green tab here. You will lift the tab up, pull the cassette towards you, that will then release, and as you can see, the cassette is now out. If we want to empty or clean the cassette, to empty it, this grey nozzle on the far left, twist it out to the left, take that green cap off at the top, and when you tilt up the cassette, the fluids will flow out. But if you put your thumb on the button at the top here and hold the button down, that lets air into the top of the cassette, so all the fluids flow out a lot faster. If you want to clean inside the cassette, you can open the cassette blade here, slide it across, use that green tab there, twist it, it will open the blade, and then obviously you can put a hose pipe inside and clean. So once you've cleaned your cassette, to put it back in place, just align it, push it back in, and then what you need to do is just make sure that this green tab clicks into place like so, so then when in transit your cassette is not going to move in or out. As you can see here, I am currently connected to mains hookup, so this is where you will plug in for at campsite. This will charge up your leisure batteries as well. This vehicle has got a spare wheel, also it has a tow bar, as you can see there, and then just to the left of it you've got your grey waste valve. So basically the grey pipe, that's where your grey waste will discharge from, and then this connection here you have it's like an Allen key which goes on there. You twist it, quarter turn, it will open that valve and all the grey waste will drain directly below. Now on the driver's side of the habitation, so the only two things we've got on here, we've got your freshwater fill. So take the blue cap off, hose pipe in. When the water starts to come out of this hole, that means your freshwater tank is completely full. Here next to the electric step we have an external gas point. So if you want to have obviously a barbecue outside, you can just get a quick release connection which clicks onto here, turn on obviously that yellow tap, and then obviously you've got gas externally. The electric step is controlled by a button in the habitation door which we'll get to. Now I'm just going to show you what is in the back doors of the camper van. So here we have a gas locker as well. So them two seats there, these straps, they go there in front. So you strap them seats up there. But behind it, behind this door, you have got obviously gas points for your gas tanks. So you can connect up to the top there, to the regulator. That top one is a changeover valve, so it's currently the white line is pointing to the left hand side, so it will take from the left hand tank, and then obviously if the left hand tank runs out you can just twist it over to the right so you don't have to change the hoses over. But this has a gas low system underslung, so a lot of people probably use this as just generic storage. And then under these cupboards here, which we'll get to internally, that is where your leisure batteries are, your 12 volt system and the 240 volt main breaker is all under there. Previous customers left all the axe and shovel in there, which is great. And then this hole here, it does have a cover, but the reason you need to access in here, let's see if I can show it, yeah, there we go. So that black valve there, that is your drain valve for the freshwater tank. So you need to twist that to the left to close the valve and twist it all the way to the right to open the valve to drain the water tank. You can use this valve to drain it to roughly 20 litres. How you do that is when you close the valve completely, fill the freshwater tank up. If you twist it a quarter turn to the right, that will just open the valve a little bit and drain it roughly to 20 litres. So now we are going to go into the habitation area. So this vehicle does have a fly screen. Just grab it in the middle halfway and then slide it across gently. One thing to keep in mind, you can't have this closed and shut the sliding door. because you could potentially damage it by this rubber stopper. To control the electric step, it's just here, just press and hold and it will go in, press and hold out, it will go all the way out. Got light switch here, 240 volt socket. So in the cab area, we've got your 12 volt control panel. Top one, as you can see, it's lit up yellow. Currently I'm plugged into shore, so that will light up. If I plug into campsite and this doesn't light up, there's a fault. Most of the time it's the campsite post, so check the post that it's not tripped, or sometimes you might get a faulty adapter on the post. Just check that first, and then the next one is to go and check your main breaker, which is under the bed, which we'll get to. Next one down is your fresh water pump. So you only want to turn this on when you've got water in the tank. You don't want to turn that on and the motor run dry, as you could potentially burn it out. Bottom left is your master on and off for the 12 volt. And then on the right hand side we have just got your gauges. So touch it, that is the top one is your habitation, back end of the motorhome. Press and hold, it'll give you obviously the leisure battery level. This one will give you your fresh water. As you can see, it's empty. This one with a nozzle at the bottom is your grey waste. Touch it and obviously it will give you a rough gauge. And then the bottom right, touch it, that is your vehicle battery level. So it's quite straightforward, to be fair, that control panel. In the cab area, as I was saying there, this is your gas gauge. So when the engine is running, if you press that button there, it will light up and give you an either empty or full level of lights. We've got another 240 volt socket and a 12 volt socket. Same underneath this cabinet up here, and lights. Directly above us we do have a pop top. As you can see, I've got it up. So just so you know, the easy way to get this pop top up when it's securely down, that black tab there, there's one on each side. You need to pull them in on the shelf to release the clips to lift up the pop top. So they're locked into place just up here, and then obviously you have got another safety strap as well, which secure at the top. So when that's down, that strap goes in, and then two black levers there, one on each side. You just need to pull them inwards for it to release to lift up the pop top, and then your ladder just connects on to the top here. As you can see, we've got 2-ring gas burner. So on your gas burner, one safety advice we do recommend is the glass cover is just to leave this up after use. Just let the stove cool down, especially if you've got the door open, the cold chill on the glass, and then obviously the hot stove, it could shatter the glass with the temperature difference. And then we have your kitchen tap here, which is on a mica switch. You can lift it up. So what we're going to do now is prime our motorhome with water. So basically what we need to do first is shut all the valves in the motorhome. So we have your grey waste valve you need to shut. We need to shut the fresh water tank valve, so when we fill it up it's not going to empty. We need to shut the boiler valve. So this has got a Truma system, which we'll get to. It's just under the seat here, so you need to shut the boiler valve. And then down under this floor here, there is two taps which you need to shut. So you've got fresh water tank to empty, to close, grey waste to close, frost protect valve to close, and then you've got two blue valves which are under the floor there. The blue valves are just doing the pipe work, which I will show you. Once all the valves are shut, fill up the fresh water tank. When the fresh water tank is full, what we would do is come to your control panel, turn on the 12 volt system, and then turn on the pump at the control panel. Then come to the tap, turn the tap on the cold side, and basically the pump will kick in. You get a steady flow of water once the airs come out of the pipe work. Once you get a steady flow on the cold side, twist it to the hot side. And what the hot side is actually going to do, it's going to take water from the fresh water tank all the way into your boiler, and then it's filling up your boiler, which is around 10 to 12 litres of fresh water, and then from your boiler it comes through your tap. Once you get a steady flow on the hot side, shut the tap, and that means your full water system, hot and cold, is ready to use when you need. The only thing you need to do is on your boiler is turn on your boiler, because your boiler is not instant hot water, you do have to boil it. Here, directly above the fridge, the lights are flickering, sorry. So here we've got your Truma control panel. As you can see, I'm running on gas. I've got it at 30 degrees and I've got the fan on boost. You will get a separate link on the email just off this control panel. As you can see, we've got some sockets here. So you've got 12 volt, you've got 240 mains, and then here, which you won't need to use because you've got an underslung gas tank, but this is connected to the gas regulator. For in winter, you have a winter mode and summer mode. Basically, the winter one keeps it from the regulator from freezing if you're going somewhere really cold, and then if you put it onto the summer one, it will give you a gauge. There's a red light on the bottom right there, meaning that I've no gas, which obviously I know because there's no tanks. So you might not actually use this because you've got obviously the underslung system. Here we have a fridge freezer. So this is a compressor fridge. This just works off your leisure battery. To use this, all you need to do is press the power on, it will light up, and then you've got two settings. You can go press and hold to change the temperature on top, and then the middle one you've got a night mode. So what night mode does, it runs the fan at a lower RPM, so it's a bit quieter at night. So if you have a light sleeper, put it on night mode, and that usually stays on for about 8 hours. Like I said, this fridge is running off your leisure battery. To turn it off, press and hold the power and it will shut down. Now I'm just going to lift up the travel seat here and just show you what the black frost protect valve is underneath, which you need to shut to fill up your boiler. So I'm going to try and show you this the best as possible, just where the valve is, but this is where your boiler is. As you might be able to hear, it's obviously pumping away because I've got the heating on. So basically, down at the bottom, that black valve there is called a frost protect valve. What a frost protect valve does, one, it isolates the boiler from draining, and then two, it's called a frost protect valve because when it hits 3 degrees or less and it's not warm in the motorhome, this will trigger. So if you've left this stationary and it gets really cold, this should trigger at 3 degrees to protect your boiler. So what it will do is open it up automatically and drain all the water out the boiler, because that's the expensive part. This valve is actually open, and how I know this is the diamond valve on top, the blue one, is in line with the black valve, and then there's a button just there. That blue button is actually sticking out. To shut this, you just need to twist the valve on top and then push the blue button in. So now the blue button is in, the valve is diamond valve is sideways, so that means the valve is completely shut. If you twist the valve and the button's not pushed in, it will still drain. So that is your frost protect valve. So that is the valve you do need to shut if you are wanting to fill up your water system. And as you can see, I've just twisted that valve, the buttons come out, so I've manually drained the boiler. Now I'm going to show you what's under this floor and then try and show you the best in the cupboards. So under this floor, the two valves I was talking about, if you lift it up, as you can see there is two blue valves. You need to close them. That basically, not everyone always opens them, but basically them valves are just draining any excess water in the pipe work. So down underneath the bed here we've got leisure battery, and then above we've got your 12 volt e-box. So this is where your 12 volt fuses are. So if one of the fuses goes, this is where you need to check. The next compartment, we've got another leisure battery, and then at the back of it we have got your 240 volt breaker. So that's on your 240 volt side, so if something trips, that is where you need to check, especially at campsite when you're plugged in. And then here we have an inverter, which I think has been fitted separately. So you've got two plug sockets on that as well, and a rocker switch at the top to turn it on and off. In the garage as well, you've got heating there, and then you've got a tie down bracket just below as well. The last thing is in your shower room. So you've got a board at the bottom which you'll need to take out for the shower tray. You've got your shower screen there which slides all the way around. You've got a hanging dry rack at the top which you just pull down, so if you've got any wet gear you can obviously dry it in here, as this is heated in here. Got your basin sink. To release it, just push this tab down, and then obviously it does drop down like so. When you use the sink, it just goes straight into a drainage tray. That is your basin tap as well as your shower head, which is on a pull cord. And then here we've got your toilet. So if you want to use your toilet, this white button, basically it's a lever as well, so you just twist this lever on top, twist the valve here to open and close the toilet cassette blade. If this is open, the toilet cassette won't be able to pull out, so you need to make sure this is closed. Obviously you will close this most of the time, just because obviously you don't want any smells to come back up. The blue button in the middle is your freshwater flush, so if you press that, that will use some fresh water from the freshwater tank to wash down in the bowl. You might need your 12 volt system on, because that will use the pump. And then at the left of it there's a gauge with 3 dots. That gauge, once it gets the orange/red at the top, that will light up, and basically that's indicating your toilet cassette is full, so it needs emptying. So that is the instructional / overview video on this used Hymer Grand Canyon S 600. If you have any more questions, leave a comment below, or you can always drop us an email or give us a call.